All right, today we're going to build a practical, easy-to-use first aid kit. But not for scrapes or bruises, for one of our trickiest, most powerful emotions, anger. We're going to give you some simple, really effective tools to help you navigate those heated moments and stay connected to the people you care about. So let's start with the big question. What if we could just reframe how we think about anger? Instead of seeing it as this big personal failure, something we should be ashamed of, what if we saw it as a signal? Just a blinking light on our dashboard telling us that something important is going on, that a core need isn't being met. When you look at it that way, anger stops being a disaster and it becomes data. It's an opportunity to learn, to grow, and actually connect more deeply.
Okay, first things first, we have to bust a huge myth. We've all heard it, right? Just let it out, punch a pillow. But here's the thing. A ton of psychological research shows that venting aggressively doesn't actually put the fire out. It's more like pouring gasoline on it. It just reinforces the neural pathways for anger in your brain, which basically means you're not releasing anger, you're practicing it. You're getting better at being angry.
So, if screaming into a pillow is out, what's in? Well, the very first, most critical step has nothing to do with solving the problem. It's about your own body. It's physiological. Before you can think clearly or talk things through, you absolutely have to calm your own nervous system. You've got to get your body back on your team first.
I love this metaphor from negotiation expert William Ury. He calls it going to the balcony. Just imagine, in the middle of a heated moment, that you can mentally float up, out of the chaos, and look down on the whole scene from a theater balcony. It's not about escaping, it's about getting perspective. This creates that tiny, crucial pause that stops you from just reacting on autopilot and gives your thinking brain a chance to come back online.
So while you're on that mental balcony, what's a concrete tool you can actually use? Tactical breathing. You might have also heard it called box breathing. It is a super simple but incredibly powerful technique used by everyone from Navy SEALs to surgeons to, well, people like us. And it works because it has real physiological effects. It literally slows your heart rate, lowers the stress hormone cortisol, and flips the switch on your body's rest and digest system. It's your body's own built-in brake pedal.
And the best part? It's so easy to remember. Just think of a square or a box. You breathe in for a count of 4, you hold for 4, you breathe out for 4, and you hold at the bottom for 4. That's it. Seriously, just doing that 2 or 3 times can make a huge difference, pulling you right out of that fight or flight spiral. You know, this quote just captures that idea so perfectly. And that tense moment, before a single word, a single reaction comes out of your mouth, let your first word be a conscious breath. It is the ultimate tool for hitting pause, and the amazing thing is, it is always, always with you. Okay, so once your body is a little bit calmer, we can start to work with the mind. And one of the most powerful psychological tools out there can be summed up in this simple phrase: name it to tame it. It's just the simple act of putting a name, a label, on what you're feeling.
Now here's what's so cool about this. The neuroscience behind it is fascinating. See, when you're just lost in a feeling, totally overwhelmed by it, your amygdala, think of it as your brain's smoke alarm, is just blaring. It's running the whole show. But the second you pause and put a word to it, even just saying to yourself, wow, I'm feeling really frustrated, or okay, this is disappointment, you activate your frontal lobe. That's the CEO of your brain. And by bringing the CEO online, you help calm down that frantic smoke alarm. So, you've used your breath to calm your body, and you've used self-labeling to calm your mind. You've got your feet back under you. But the real magic, and I mean it's like a magic trick, happens when you turn this tool outward. Labeling can be an unbelievably powerful way to de-escalate the other person in the conflict. And to get why this works, we need to understand a little quirk of our brains. Psychologists call it the negativity bias. Basically, brain imaging studies have shown that negative emotions have about 3 times the psychological punch of positive ones. 3 times! That's why just trying to ignore someone's anger or frustration in a conversation is almost always a losing strategy. It's just too powerful to ignore. And this is where former FBI hostage negotiator Chris Voss gives us this incredible and kind of counterintuitive piece of advice. Instead of ignoring their anger or telling them not to be angry, you call it out. You label it for them. By simply saying what you see, you show them that you get it, you're paying attention, and it actually diminishes the negative feeling. It takes the air right out of it. Now, a label isn't an accusation. It's not, "Why are you so angry?" It's a gentle, verbal observation. And you start it with soft, tentative language. Things like, "It seems like," or "It sounds like," or "It looks like." This gives them space to either agree and feel understood, or even to correct you, which is also a win.
And this example makes it so clear. Let's say you're worried someone thinks you're being unfair. Our instinct is to deny it, right? We say, I don't want you to think this is unfair, but that just makes them think about the word unfair. It backfires. But watch what happens when you label it instead. You say, it seems like you feel this is unfair. Boom! You've just validated their perspective, and you'll often see the tension in their face just release.
All right, so we've calmed ourselves down, we've used a label to help calm them down, we've de-escalated the situation. Now what? Now we need a path forward. We need a structure for having a productive conversation that actually gets us somewhere.
And the whole goal here, and this comes from brilliant frameworks like Dr. Marshall Rosenberg's Nonviolent Communication, is to shift the entire focus of the conversation. We need to get away from the blame game, away from judgment, and instead learn how to clearly and honestly talk about what we're observing, what we're feeling, and what we really need. This process breaks down into 4 really clear, manageable steps. First, you state a neutral factual observation, just the facts, no judgment. Second, you state the feeling that this observation triggered in you. Third, you connect that feeling to a universal human need, like respect or support or connection. And finally, number 4, you make a clear positive request, something they can actually do.
And here it is, all put together in a simple fill-in-the-blanks formula. When this thing happens, I feel this emotion, because I have a need for this universal need. So, would you be willing to do this specific thing? For example, when I see the dirty dishes in the sink, I feel overwhelmed because I need support in keeping our home tidy. Would you be willing to help with the dishes tonight? See, it's a script for getting your needs met without starting World War III. Wow, okay, we've covered a lot of ground, haven't we? From our own nervous system all the way to how we structure a difficult conversation. So let's wrap this all up and pack it into that simple toolkit that you can start using, well, today.
You know, a great way to start is with a tool like this anger meter. It's just a way to check in with yourself. The goal here is not to live at a 1 all the time. That's not realistic. The real goal is to get better at noticing when you're moving from, say, a 3 to a 6. Because if you can catch it then, you can use your tools before you hit a 10. That self-awareness is the absolute foundation of self-control.
So, here it is, your complete anger first aid kit. Let's run through it one last time. First, breathe. Use box breathing to get your body calm. Second, name it. Label your own feelings to tame them. Third, label them. Acknowledge their feelings to diffuse the tension in the room. And finally, state needs. Use that 4-step formula to rebuild the conversation and ask for what you want.
And that really brings us to the final, most important point. These are skills. And just like learning a musical instrument or a new sport, they require practice, not perfection. You're not going to get it right every time, and that is perfectly okay. So the question to take with you is this. What is one small, low-stakes situation this week where you can just try one of these tools? That's it. That's where the real change always begins.